Hey, kickball friends, how's everyone doing? I know it's been a really long time since I posted one of these. Figured it was quite necessary before the playoffs. As you can see, I am running this solo today. I've never done this before, uh, but hopefully that'll still be good for you guys. Let's get right into it. Let's go over the overall standings, which will give us our playoff standings. We have first place PFK, Tommy's, Balls Deep, EMC, One Kick Wonders, DTF, Ballside Squad, and Orange Crush, which means the playoff matchups will be starting at 12 today. Uh, First matchup, I'm not sure which games are at what time. I don't have that in front of me, but the playoff matchups will be PFK versus Orange Crush, Tommy's versus Ballaside, Balls Deep versus DTF, EMC versus One Kick Wonders. I think there's one game that obviously stands out amongst the others for the first round of the playoffs. EMC and One Kick Wonders. One Kick Wonders, I think, shocked the league when they beat EMC. EMC, everyone thought was that clear fourth team, which they did finish in the standings. But the fact that One Kick Wonders beat them put One Kick Wonders, I think, from seventh place all the way into fifth. So props to them. I had them seventh going into the year. After the first few weeks, I thought they could be seven, maybe even eight at one point. But it looks like they put some things together and ended the year at 500. So props to One Kick Wonders. Uh, that game, after playing both this year, and I played One Kick Wonders at the beginning of the year. I think it was the second week, so I'm not sure how much they've improved. Obviously, some if they're beating these other teams, and maybe EMC didn't have some players that week. But I think when it comes down to it, and it's a playoff and everything matters, I think EMC comes through it. The next interesting matchup is Balls Deep and DTF. Somehow DTF always plays Balls Deep well, even even when you don't think there's going to be a chance. DTF usually plays them strong, but Balls Deep's got the most important factor today and does not have Victor. So I think that gives him the edge in that one. Tommy's and Ball aside, I think there's going to be a smaller Tommy's team today. I've heard they have a team, but I heard it's a small team. But I don't think they have any problems with Ball aside. They do have some great players still, and which means they're going to kick a lot. That's not good news when you have Pete coming up maybe every inning or every other inning. Uh, and finally, PFK versus Orange Crush. They've played twice this year. Obviously, I'm on PFK. PFK has won both times pretty easily, and I see that happening a third time. But we always have a good time playing against Orange Crush. Great people. Uh, just not that great at kickball yet. Which leaves our next round of matchups being PFK and EMC. That's the only one. I mean, that could easily be One Kick Wonders if results go the same as last time. But I think we beat either of them, especially after last night when we played what I think is the better of the two. Uh, and then that leaves Tommy's and Balls Deep. I think combined these two teams have had maybe 4 or 5 second place finishes in all of our seasons. Maybe more if you count that first season when Balls Deep and Tommy's didn't exist, but Pete and Victor were on the same team. But I don't really count that. I know Balls Deep was in the second one. Tommy's were in a couple after that when they were known as Yoko. And the last 2 years, I think. Oh, no, one was there for a few years, too. Uh, but yeah, that's a lot of second place finishes, and I think both of them are really eager to finally win one. Uh, Knowing that Tommy's is a little short, I don't know what the Balls Deep squad looks like other than no Victor, who obviously is not here. He is in Vegas. I I think I have to go with Balls Deep in that one, which leaves a PFK Balls Deep rematch. Uh, I think maybe for the third, fourth time. Uh, and I think it's obvious who I'm going to pick, but maybe you think otherwise. Sorry, I'm going through this a little fast. It's early. I'm just giving the people what they want right now. Uh, I do want to talk about I do want to talk about some rules just so everyone is aware of for the playoffs today. One is the overthrow. I think it's the most confusing thing in kickball. I'm running to first, and there's a play at first. It's a close one, and there's an overthrow. What happens next? If I try to advance, if I make an effort to go to second, I have second, except if you try to throw it at me before I get to second. If you hit me, I am out. If you miss, obviously I am safe, but I also now have the option to go to third and then home because the overthrow rule is done. But if I go to second, and like I always do, I will try to get third just in case someone isn't paying attention and calls an overthrow. If you throw it at me after I go from second and start heading to third, does not matter what happens. I will be sent back to second, whether you get me out, whether I score. If once I have reached second and no play has been made on me, the play is done there. You can tag me. If I'm off the bag, it doesn't matter. I will not be out. I will be sent to second. If you throw it at me and it misses, I can't go to third. I am stuck on second. There is no advancing after that. It's only when you make a play on someone on their way to second where you would get to advance. I've misinterpreted that rule 2 or 3 times. It's different than what I think we originally had when we started this league, which is why I think I've miscalled it this year. My apologies if that happened to your team. But it's not that, like, you have to put your hands up. There is no rule with that. There is no rule that if you make a play on someone after they rule second, you can keep going. It's not your option. So that's just my clarification on that one. I hope I explained that pretty well. Another one, headshots. If I am running, say there's people on second and third base, and I'm kicking, and I'm running to first, and you hit me in the head. First, I am safe as long as I did not make an attempt to jump out of the way of it or slide or get down. Once I go down, my head is free. I mean, if you just do this, you're fine. But if you really go down, like sliding, diving, or jump, like you take yourself out of the headshot play. But what happens if you hit me in the head? Is the play done? Does play keep going on? The play is not dead. It almost takes over as if it was a normal throw. So overthrow rules will apply. So if it hits me in the head and goes flying that way, you can definitely call an overthrow, which means I could get another bag, but I can't go further anymore. But if it hits my head and goes back into play, then you just play it as long as if it had never happened. That is my clarification on the rule. I can read it to you later when I can get that up. But those are 2 things I wanted to talk about before playoffs today. My advice to if you are reffing today, especially head refs, do not have conversations with your other refs with everyone able to hear you. That's when people start arguing. Get everyone to meet, discuss, and have the head ref make a ruling. If you don't get in, if you don't meet in, that's when arguments will happen. That's when people get upset. And yes, people will still get upset today, but it really limits it. All right, last thing, because I'm keeping this real short today, because I've got to go teach some lessons. I'm actually pretty tired. My props today are runs that DTF scores today, because I think they're a wild card factor. They could somehow beat balls deep, because that's what they do, or they could get shut out on that first game and never score another run. I'm going with DTF scoring 2 runs in the day. I think that balls deep beats them like 7-2, so I'm going to go with that. I don't see them shocking it this time, but my prediction is 2 runs. Next one. What will the total runs scored be in the One Kick Wonders EMC game? My obviously game of the first round of the playoffs. I'm going. It was 3-1 last time, so the answer would have been 4. I think there's a little more this time. I see like a 5-3 game happening, so I'm going to go with 8 with EMC coming on top. Sorry, One Kick Wonders. You had a great first season. I see a bright future. You're going to add a couple more pieces, fill a couple holes, and you could get into that top 4 for the semis. Congrats for getting in the top 5. Last one, my favorite one. Keep it DTF. Chip, how many bases will you get to today? Sorry, buddy. I don't think you achieve any with you losing that game. Unless you get a fielder's choice, I don't think you're getting it first. Part of this may be me trying to get you going, motivating you. Good luck today, but don't think you're getting to a base. Sorry. The last thing I have, maybe we can do a little prize award for this one. Much tougher when you have the playoffs because you are going to have 4 games in the first round. It's 2 games in the second round and 1. So 7 total games. How many runs will we see on the day? I'm not even giving my predictions to anyone because I want you to guess. Comment here. Tell me what you think the total runs will be on the day. Last thing, I do want to say thank you to Margie for being so awesome this season and every season. Congrats to her and Tom. They just found out they're having a boy. But to be dealing with that and to run a league with us knuckleheads, I think it takes a lot. And she saw a problem this season with the bar, and she took care of it for us, just like she has in any other situation. So thank you, Margie, very much for running an awesome league. Excited for playoffs today. All right, thank you for listening. Sorry you had to listen to me the whole time. It was weird talking to myself, but hope it worked. Thank you, guys. Good luck.